July 20th, 1969 brought an era of wonder to the world. That's when humans walked on the moon for the first time. 3 courageous astronauts aboard NASA's Apollo 11 embarked on this celestial journey. Neil Armstrong made history as the first astronaut to touch lunar soil. Can you imagine the sheer awe that must have echoed across the globe? After this monumental achievement, NASA pursued more lunar missions. Apollo 12, Apollo 14, Apollo 15, Apollo 16, and Apollo 17. They're all great in their own way. Eugene Cernan became the last person to walk on the moon during the Apollo 17 mission on December 14, 1972. And do you know what's intriguing? It was the first time he'd landed on the moon and driven a car there. Yet something curious happened after this expedition. No space agency ventured back to the moon. Imagine this. In 3 years, from 1969 to 1972, NASA orchestrated 6 lunar missions, guiding 12 intrepid astronauts to the lunar surface. But then, for the next 51 years, nothing happened. NASA didn't launch a lunar mission. A puzzling hiatus indeed. You might be surprised to hear that Apollo 18 and Apollo 19 were discussed after Apollo 17. However, both were scrapped by NASA under a shroud of mystery. There's a big question. Why didn't NASA explore the moon after 1972? Despite conspiracy theories, the truth remains elusive. There are 2 theories that grab my attention. The first and most popular theory is aliens. Think about this. Humans have been to the moon 6 times since the dawn of civilization, but the journey ended suddenly. Picture the Apollo 11 mission unfolding. Every eye on Earth is glued to the monumental event. Something inexplicable happened as the astronauts embarked on their lunar odyssey, broadcasting their adventure live. When Neil Armstrong took his historic step, something curious began to happen. 2 to 3 minutes of radio and TV transmissions from the mission vanished. Fast forward a few years, hackers breached NASA's servers, unearthing a clandestine 2-minute audio clip from Apollo 11. In this covert audio, Neil Armstrong hints at a UFO sighting, aliens observing them from afar. Cue conspiracy theories. Some UFO enthusiasts believe in extraterrestrial civilizations visiting Earth and even the moon. But let's tread carefully. This audio's authenticity remains unverified. NASA scientists checked all footage from Apollo 11 several times before releasing it to the public. But one image stands out among all the video footage and pictures. Here's a picture of Neil Armstrong saluting the US flag on the moon. When the exposure is increased, a mysterious object can be seen in the background. Alien theory didn't end there. Neil Armstrong kept a diary of his own, where he wrote down what happened. Neil Armstrong also mentioned the alien ship in his diary, according to people close to him. NASA sent 5 more manned missions to the moon after this. In 1972, NASA sent its last mission to the moon. Despite NASA sending humans to the moon unofficially several times, conspiracy theories suggest that the 1972 mission was not NASA's last. 15 years ago, a video of the Apollo 20 mission was uploaded to YouTube. Within a few hours of uploading, this video went viral. According to the video, NASA and the Soviet Union launched the mission together. The video shows the spacecraft orbiting the moon. This Poro video is most mysterious because of a dead woman, and even more surprising is that the woman wasn't even human. It's said to be an alien's dead body. NASA scientists named it Mona Lisa 1. After Apollo 17, NASA didn't fly any more missions to the moon. What makes Apollo 20 possible? It's hard to imagine that the US and the Soviet Union would go on a mission to the moon together during the period in question. According to NASA, the whole thing was a hoax. Even so, why didn't NASA send people to the moon after all those moon missions? Since there was no right answer, everyone believed in aliens. Additionally, there's a conspiracy theory. NASA brought back 2 dead bodies from the moon during Apollo 20. Later, the dead bodies were taken to Area 51, USA's secret research center. Other people say NASA saw something on the moon that scared them off going back. Famous scientist Stephen Hawking said, "One day we might receive a signal from a planet like this," Hawking says in the documentary. referring to a potentially habitable alien world known as Gliese 832c. But we should be wary of answering back. Meeting an advanced civilization could be like Native Americans encountering Columbus. That didn't turn out so well. According to alien theorists, NASA might have thought that if NASA got too close to aliens, it might hurt human civilization. Maybe that's why NASA didn't do another moon mission. You have to keep in mind that this alien theory is entirely based on assumptions. This is why they're so controversial. Now let's talk about something less controversial, which is considered the real reason for not sending more people to the moon. There's a political reason for this. Let's talk about the political motive, which isn't as controversial. When the Cold War was going on, think of the fervor between the US and the Soviet Union. Both nations got into a space race for cosmic supremacy, launching Sputnik 1 and sending Yuri Gagarin on humankind's first spacewalk. The Soviets got the ball rolling early. As a counter, Kennedy promised the US would reach the moon within a decade, inflating NASA's budget. Since there's no shortage of money, research goes on like crazy. USA had great success in space missions in 1969. This success delayed the Soviet Union's space research several times. As a result of these missions, the US was several times ahead of the Soviet Union. Thus, US people lost interest in Moon's expedition. Also, NASA's budget has dwindled over time from 5% of the American GDP to less than 1% due to this, resulting in a deficit. Moreover, sending people to the moon requires a lot of safety protocols, now that sending robots to the moon is safer than people. However, some people say NASA never landed humans on the moon, deeming all Apollo mission videos fake. It's a controversial claim, but it keeps coming up. If you're interested, we can make a video about this claim. Former President Trump expressed interest in NASA's lunar mission and increased NASA's budget again, hinting at a return to the moon within a decade. Here we are, caught in a web of theories. What's the truth? Alien encounters? Political agendas? Or something even crazier? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you for joining us today. If you've enjoyed this dive into the unknown, give us a thumbs up, share this video with your fellow space enthusiasts, and subscribe to Mysterious World for more mind-bending explorations into mystery. Until then, keep questioning, exploring, and seeking the secrets of our mysterious world.